Today I wanted to talk about the three different strengths that are commonly found within perfumery: perfume, eau de parfum, and eau de toilette. Eau de toilette takes its name from a very old-fashioned French term, toilette, which is what we do to make ourselves feel fresh. So you can literally translate eau de toilette as refreshing water. I think it's really important to understand that, because many people buy eau de toilette thinking that it will allow them to have scent on them all day, which was never what it was created for. When you apply an eau de toilette, approximately 50% of what you put on is going to disappear within some 15 to 30 minutes, which is really bright, invigorating, and very refreshing. A further 30% will last some 2 to 4 hours on the skin, which means you have a very, very small background of around 20%, which will stay on the skin for 24 hours. So the main adjectives I would use to describe an eau de toilette: really refreshing with a very, very soft, lasting quality. The eau de parfum, just like the eau de toilette, is very, very refreshing when you first put it on. Approximately 40% of what you apply is going to last around 15 to 30 minutes, with a heart which is going to have around 30% of the structure, lasting 2 to 4 hours, which means you get a much richer and bigger background effect. So some 30% is going to stay on your skin for 24 hours. So how would you describe it? I would describe it as refreshing, but more long-lasting. However, if you want a fragrance to really, really hold and last on your skin, nothing will do it like perfume. Perfume is made up with the same raw materials generally, but structured in a different way. When you very, very first apply a perfume, only somewhere around 20% is made up of top and head notes, which meaning it is not as fresh, not as uplifting, but certainly it has those type of materials there. The heart is always constant, some 30%. This is the main structure of the perfume. When you think of it, it's what we think of always with a scent. But the main speciality of perfume is its lasting quality. Some 50% will stay on your skin for approximately 24 hours. So if long-lasting is what you're looking for, nothing will do it like perfume. I think it's really important to understand, when we talk about ingredients like top notes, heart notes, base notes, and so on, what we're talking about. A top note literally means a raw material which, when you spray it, doesn't stay on the skin for very long. They're volatile. And it's because the raw material is lifting from your skin that we get the feeling of it in the back of our nose, citrus being the most obvious, followed very quickly by all the aromatic or herbal notes. The more of these materials we have, the stronger the fragrance will feel, ironically, but it is because so much of it is evaporating from the skin. I've always found it fascinating that people who have never worn perfume say, oh, they think it will be too strong, whereas actually the opposite is true. If you put an eau de toilette or eau de parfum on one side of your body, on your wrist or your hand, and on the other side put perfume, if you put one under your nose and then the other, you will find the impression of an eau de toilette or eau de parfum is much stronger than that of perfume, and it literally is because so much of it is evaporating off of your skin. If you've never tried it, I'd suggest you do, because it will shock many of you. I know whenever I conduct a perfumery training course, it's something I always do, and people are blown away by it. One of the things I get asked over and over is, what's the best way to apply scent or fragrance? So I think there are two different ways to answer. The first is if you're looking for a scent you're thinking of trying, maybe to buy, and the other is when you're applying it on your skin. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is how you should apply a fragrance either to a blotter or your skin if you're wanting to test it. It's really, really important when you hold it that you always hold the blotter about that far away. The reason for it, you want very little scent to fall on the blotter, so by the time you bring it to your nose, any alcohol that's on the blotter will have evaporated. There's an old way of saying, which is that you can only smell 2 to 3 perfumes and then your nose becomes tired and it becomes impossible to smell. That, of course, is nonsense, because all day you are smelling thousands and thousands of different odours. If it was really true your nose can only smell 2 to 3 things, then nothing would have any smell after the first 15 minutes you've got up. So what is it that makes us feel that we can't smell? It's alcohol. Alcohol is an anesthetic. And if you do what most people do, which is this on a blotter and then bring it to your nose, the volume of alcohol is enormous, the scent smells awful, and the alcohol is going to anesthetize the back of your nose, rendering your nose incapable of smelling. I find it personally very interesting, the thing of popping coffee beans under your nose. This is me going into it a bit. Coffee beans never existed in perfumery. We always knew the thing to spray from a distance, not expose your nose to alcohol. In my opinion, the idea of a coffee bean being able to sober your nose up is a bit like telling the policeman after you've had 5 gins that you had 2 double espressos, so now you're just fine. Don't expose the back of your nose to the alcohol. In the first place, you will get a much better effect, and you will find that you can smell things all day long. Do exactly the same when you're trying scent on your skin, wherever you put it, on the wrist or the hand. Always spray it from a distance. It looks as though really nearly nothing is falling, but there's more than enough there. If you think you like the scent, then I'd suggest that you put a lot on, because you've got that first impression of it and you know that you like it. When you're applying fragrance to your body, I think it depends a little bit on the strength you're using. However, the one thing I would never do is sort of mist myself like that. I think the problem with it is you end up with very little scent anywhere, and you won't appreciate the fragrance. I think it is much better to put 2 or 3 sprays on your wrist and then just push your wrist together. You will find by having this very concentrated volume of scent in one place, you really will feel it throughout the day. Of course, we have put scent on our wrists since antiquity because we move our arms when we speak, and it is that movement which brings scent to life. A lot of people spray fragrance around here. If you think of yourself in the morning, maybe you did it. You just pick up the scent, chup, chup, chup. The problem with that, the scent is going to end up going on your neck. For men, if a man shaves, it can end up irritating the skin. And for women, I have always said throughout my working career, you have a forbidden triangle. It's along the jawline to the earlobe, directly down to the top of the décolleté. If you think of the skin on the top of the cleavage, it's very, very fine, often exposed to the sun and the wind. Our neck has very, very little natural protection, which is why the neck ages far more quickly than the face. Don't forget, fragrance has alcohol in, so it's like putting an astringent on your neck. It is the forbidden triangle. A much more beautiful place to put a scent, if you go directly from the earlobe into the clavicle and put fragrance here, the beauty of it, as you move your head around, you have the pleasure of smelling it. And of course, anybody coming up and greeting you, when we're allowed to do that again, will have the pleasure of the scent. Also, this idea that scent always comes to life with the movement of air. If you think as you move around, little puffs of air will come up through your shirt, your blouse, your sweater, and bring the scent to life. It will bring it to your nose. If you're going somewhere special, if you want to mark an occasion, to feel you're doing something different, in the way many women do, say, with lingerie, you will wear different things when you're going somewhere special because it marks an occasion. Put a little bit of scent behind the knee, put a little bit of scent behind the ankle. The beauty of it, it's a lovely gesture, but scent always rises with heat, as does everything. So it's worth doing if you're going to a cocktail party, if you're going to a dinner, because you'll appreciate the scent coming under your nose as it starts its journey to captivate each and all of us. I hope you found some of the information I gave you useful. I know, as I said at the beginning, so many people ask me these questions, so they might seem basic, but I hope they've been a help. I hope they help you get more out of the fragrance you wear, and let me know. Thanks.